Hi guys, today I want to do something just a little bit different. I'm coming to you from my car today because I've had a hard time finding some quiet time at home, and this way I get quietness. I want to talk about a book today, and the whole subject today is, do you want to be happy? Seems like a stupid question, doesn't it? Don't we all want to be happy? Of course we do. But then I'm going to give you some strategies today of how to do that, whether you're Christian or not, but a lot of Christian principles I think come out of this book that can really help you. This is the book that's about 9 years old, but I just read it this year. It's called The Happiness Advantage. This is from author Shaun Achor. He's written a couple other books. I've read one other, and it's just phenomenal writing, easy to read, great stories, great proof of how he came up with this strategy. The whole point of this situation, the happiness advantage, comes down to so often in our lives, and I can tell from my past experiences, we think if I reach a certain income level, or if I get a certain job, maybe if I get into this school, if I get into this or that, once I achieve that amount of success, then I will be happy. But you know what happens is so often we get to that level and think, oh no, now I need to get to this level. I'm not as happy as I thought I'd be. Now I need to make this much more money to make more and more happiness. And he said the whole point of that is the psychology has proven, the studies have shown, if you can find happiness where you currently are, if you can find ways to be happy in what you're doing now, you'll have the success. It's much easier to get the success that you're looking for. And I'm going to give you some ways to find this today. In fact, real quickly, I try to keep these videos around 5 or 6 minutes. I don't know how long this one will be, but I'm going to give just 7 different tips he lists on here of how to find happiness in our life today. And Shaun goes, here are a number of proven ways we can improve our moods and raise our levels of happiness throughout the day. Each activity listed below not only gives a quick boost of positive emotions, improving our performance and focus and movement, but if performed habitually over time, each has been shown to help permanently raise our happiness baseline. So number 1, meditate. All I'm going to say about this is there's different ways of having quiet time. He says take just 5 minutes each day to watch your breath go in and out. And while you do so, try to remain patient. Now, from a Christian standpoint, I try to take these 5 minutes a day and just pray to God. I turn off the radio, turn off anything in my life, and just thank God for what He's done in my life. That's important. Number 2, find something to look forward to. Ironically, now I'm naturally more of a happy person than I know a lot of my friends have been. So to me, I will admit it's easier for me. This is something naturally I've done for decades. I remember even when I was in high school, waking up in the morning on a Monday thinking, oh, I don't want to go to school, or maybe during work, I don't want to go work. There's something that we're having for dinner tonight. Is there something later on? Is there something going on in your school or in your work that day that you can look forward to it and hang on that to something to look forward to for that day? Number 3, commit conscious act of kindness. He says, try this yourself. Pick one day a week and make a point of committing 5 acts of kindness. But if you want to reap the psychological benefits, make sure you do these things deliberately and consciously. Now, there's different ways of doing this, and he says you just can't look back and think, oh, I held the door open for somebody, and that was good. No, you have to do it deliberately up front. I think recently I was going through the drive-through line, and I paid it backwards, or paid it forward. Basically, the lady behind me, I paid for her food, and it made me feel good. It brought happiness. Do something kind every day for people. The next one, infuse positivity into your surroundings. He says making time to go outside on a nice day also delivers a huge advantage. One study found that spending 20 minutes outside in good weather not only boosted positive mood, but broadened thinking or improved working memory. Or maybe it's watching less TV, things in the news that give you stress. Find things to help your environment. The next one is exercise. And you all heard the importance of exercise. Here again, this is something that I've enjoyed doing for years. He says you've probably heard that exercise releases pleasure-inducing chemicals called endorphins. But that's not the only benefit. Physical activity can boost mood and enhance our work performance in a number of other ways as well. By improving motivation and feelings of mastery, reducing stress and anxiety, and helping us get into the flow. Find something that you enjoy doing, and doing that every day improves your happiness. Next, spend money, but not on stuff. In his book, Luxury Fever, Robert Frank explains that while the positive feelings we get from the material objects are frustratingly fleeting, spending money on experiences, especially ones with other people, produces positive emotions that are both more meaningful and more lasting. Like spending money on other people, called pro-social spending, also boosts happiness. There's a way of spending money that can boost happiness that's not just buying stuff. And lastly, exercise a signature strength. Everyone is good at something. Perhaps you give excellent advice, or you're great with the little kids, or you whip up a mean batch of blueberry pancakes. That's not me. Each time we use a skill, whatever it is, we experience a burst of positivity. If you find yourself in need of happiness booster, revisit a talent you haven't used in a while. So those are his 7 tips on ways to boost happiness. And something I want to do today is I want to share how Jesus taught this. Like I said, this isn't a Christian book, but there are so many Christian principles in here. I want to read just a few verses from Matthew. This is Jesus. This is one of Jesus's closest apostles, disciples, Matthew, first book of the New Testament, giving his recollection of Jesus talking. And Jesus goes in Matthew 9, or which one of you, if he asks for his son, asks for a bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? And many of us know this next part, which is the golden rule. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. But so he's basically saying everything that was taught all in the Old Testament, well before Jesus came along, comes down to this: treat others how you want to be treated. And the whole point is, so many times we look in the Christian life and think, God wants us to be happy, right? If so, why am I not happy? Why are these bad things happening? Well, Jesus never said, I want you to be happy. He says, I want you to be holy. Much like, think of it like this. As a parent, when I raised my 3 daughters, I wanted them to be morally respectable. I wanted to have them to be responsible, to be able to grow up as adults and do the right things that are most important to them. But I wanted them to be happy, but happiness wasn't my main concern. You see, that's the same thing as a perfect Father and God has for us. He wants us to be happy, and we're happy, and often, at least with me, I'm most happy when I'm around doing things that God wants me to do. That brings joy. Joy is the everlasting happiness that keeps us going. Regular worldly happiness can come and go and often leave us distraught down the road. But God, just like the perfect Father, just like I wanted for my girls, wants us to be responsible and be holy and follow his commandments because he knows that's what's best for us. Just like I know as a dad, I know what's best for my children. It's not always the happiness that they see right up front. Pastor Matt Brown says, often it's just a choice to be happy. It is easy to be a victim, but more difficult to fight for happiness. So I challenge you today to look at your life and determine, what do you want? Do you want the happiness that comes and goes? Are you going to make a choice right now to find happiness where you're at? Don't look for the next step to find your happiness. Find happiness where you currently are and let that determine where your success follows. Have a great day.